This is the African Heritage Study Bible. I'm coming at you from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 12 through the 15th. This is entitled Of the Year of Release, subtitled Slavery. And it reads, "And if thy brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of the flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord thy God has blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondsman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee these things today." Slavery. Let's look at the explanation. Slavery. Slavery was practiced within African Edenic Society, albeit in a different form than was practiced in the Western world. According to Roman law, a slave is a person owned by another without rights and is like any other form of personal property to be used and disposed of in whatever way the owner may wish. History records the European slave trade 1600 to 1800 AD as one of the cruelest in the history of mankind. Not only was it brutal, demeaning, and inhumane, it separated families based on economic reasoning, making African Edenic people mere commodities for trade and bartering. In the ancient Biblical East, however, slaves did acquire various rights, which included ownership, even of other slaves, and the power to conduct business while they were yet under their master's control. Indentured slavery in Africa was frequently a way of working off debt, paying off a crime, or dealing with a captive form of warfare and raiding. Slavery did not become a commercial venture until the Arabs and the Europeans came into the continent of Africa. The nature of traditional African Edenic society was such that there was no great need for cheap labor. Before the development of the commercial slavery, slaves in Africa / Eden is another name for Africa. Slaves in Africa were often treated as members of the family and held in high positions in government. McLean, governor of the Gold Coast between 1837 and 1843, marveled that these slaves were regarded as members of the family, not even as servants, and were able to accumulate considerable wealth, and were even inherited from their masters. Slaves were frequently dressed in exceptional finery and adorned with expensive jewelry, and even more significantly, were frequently given high responsible posts. This is a comparison between African slavery and what became known as American slavery. In Africa, when one tribe raided another, the raiding tribe, the winning tribe, in the warfare would take over the other tribe and would make slaves out of the other tribe, but it was not It was more of an indentured form of slavery. It was not cruel. It did not separate families. That form of slavery came later on when the Arabs invaded East Africa, the Europeans invaded West Africa, and there is where the cruel slavery began. Biblically, traditionally, we're talking about Africa, we're talking about a different form of slavery. I'm going to leave it at that.